$20 or $30 or $50 or even $100, they're getting exactly what we say is on that label at exactly the level of the dose, and it is going to be potent exactly to the day it expires on the bottom of the bottle, because we've already done all that testing to assure that that is so. I don't know if those of you on this phone call know this, on this webinar know, but we are an OTC facility. That means we are an over-the-counter drug facility, which requires us, holds us to the same standards that over-the-counter drugs are held to. That's a totally different level of standards that most supplement manufacturers will never go through. You know why? Because it costs more. You got to test the raw materials when they come in. You got to test them after they're produced. There's so many new levels of tests, and those are expensive tests. But we don't follow over-the-counter drug rules, we lose our license. And that's why so many doctors all over the world trust in our products and get the results, because not only are we making sure that each batch, each pill, each dose is accurate, we're also making sure we're using clean ingredients that are clinically backed. And you don't have to trust me. We get so many third-party endorsements and tests so that you have the confidence and the proof needed to go out and speak about it. Tom, we have so many certifications. Can you go over some of the labs and testing that we do on our products? Tom, I think you're muted.
Yeah, I'll throw a couple of these up here and show these third-party certifications. Now, some of these are the most well-known, at least here in the United States, some of the most well-known third-party certification bodies out there, like NSF and Consumer Lab. And what's great about these third-party bodies is a lot of them actually publish the results. When they go out and they test, they don't always test product that we send them. Sometimes they actually go out and pull product off the shelf or from a rep. And they get it without our knowledge, and they'll test these. So it's very much a blind test, and they will publish those results. So if you fail the results, there's nothing we can do about it. There's nothing we can do to keep that from getting out there. Banned Substance Control Group is another one that publishes all of their results and all of those companies that comply right on their website. And then other things that we do just to back up our various claims. We test and verify for gluten. We test and verify for glycemic index reading so that we can make our low glycemic claims. We do Prop 65 testing to make sure that we're in compliance with all of those standards. Antioxidant testing like FRAP testing to make sure that products like our MOA that we'll talk about in a few minutes maintains its high level of antioxidants through the processing stages. So all of those things we do in addition to what we call confirmatory testing, which is our lot-to-lot testing. So testing that's done on every single lot of product that we produce, which now most people have to do some sort of release testing or confirmatory testing, and what a lot of these companies do is they'll get an in-house lab so that they'll take a sample, they'll send it downstairs to their in-house lab, and somebody will test it and say, you're good to go, release the product. So we're a little bit different in that we have chosen to do all of our confirmatory testing or release testing through outside labs, and we actually do a rotation of 6 different labs. Most of those local here in the West so that we can kind of keep an eye on them. But we do this rotation, and there are some that we'll actually send, that we may send a lot of product to multiple labs and just compare the results. It helps us keep them honest as well, and just to make sure that, that they are all complying as well. So we have a fairly complex system and a calendar for all of this testing, and a system of doing this so that our goal, as Deanna mentioned, is we don't want you to take our word for it. Nobody should just have to accept our word that our product meets label claim and is clean and is free from contaminants. We want you to be able to see that from third-party labs. Again, people that actually publish the results. If we fail, it's out there for everybody to see.
You know, thanks, Tom. I want to just kind of reiterate something on that. So Consumers Lab is one of these labs that posts everything like what Tom's talking about there. It's out there for the world to see. They send us a contract so that you really understand this. And it's a huge contract that says you fail, we tell everybody, our hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and we post it, we tell the world basically that you suck. So I will write them a check for $15,000 to buy our product in secret. We have no idea when they're doing it. They're going to test it, and then they're going to publicize it. Why do we do that? That's a huge risk, right? Because if we aren't what we say we are, if it doesn't come out favorable on the test, then it is out there to live forever on the land of internet, right? For anyone to see that ARIIX is not truthful. And we don't play that game. And so Tom and I are talking about all of this and showing you all these things so that you know you don't have to take our word for it. These folks, Eurofins, Food Chain, you know, Miller Labs, they don't care about us. They just care about their testing procedure. And they're out to protect you and us to prove that what we're saying is actually what we mean. So let's take a look. Oh, do you want to talk about a couple of those, Tom?
Just kind of cycling through these slides, and this is an example. I have some people who I'll talk about this, and they'll say, okay, that's great. We know you're doing that for your dietary supplements, but you've got other brands, other products. What do you do for those brands? And our philosophy is the same. We'll talk about our brand strategy here in a minute, but for every single brand that we do, whether it's a cosmetic, a personal care item, a supplement, you know, whatever it is, we do the same type of thing. So even with our cosmetics, we do the same thing. We go through clinical studies. We have had our products verified by the Environmental Working Group, EWG, that looks at toxic-free certification. We do microbial testing, stability testing, cruelty-free certification with Leaping Bunny. The same philosophy across all of our brands. So I just wanted to clear that up. This is not just something we do on our supplements. This is something we do across every brand in the company.
And you know, not only do we have the testing, we have a group of individuals who are very varied in their background who offer a great deal to us. When you look at our scientific advisory board, we have Erica, who comes from a naturopath background, Dr. Jimber comes from a chiropractic background, Dr. Marvin from a dental background, you know, Dan Miser, a chemist, Brent Roth, a chemist who actually set the standards amongst the FDA for supplement regulation, and our Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Ray Strand, who's a medical doctor. You know, we search out really varied individuals who all play a role in how we choose to formulate and make products. And maybe, Tom, you can elaborate a little bit, you know, about how do we create these products?
Well, yeah, the philosophy in terms of creation is, it really kind of goes back to you know, all my years of quality. My belief is that you cannot create a quality product if that does not start in product development. If you're designing a luxury car, a luxury home, a watch, whatever that is, that all starts in design. All of those specs are created in the design phase. The bar is set during that stage. So we put a lot of effort and a lot of time and resources working with our scientific advisory board, with our wellness council and others, making sure that we have designed products correctly to be high quality, to be efficacious, to be functional, multifunctional, safe, all of those things that we're looking for, all that criteria, because we're out to build luxury products. We're not out to build a Toyota. You know, it's a great car, I drive one. We're out to build a Mercedes. We're out to build a Bentley, right? So our design strategy and product development strategy is that we're going to build in those quality standards, those high standards from the very beginning, and then carry that through production and testing. So where I talked about testing, we're sort of backing up into the product development phase, but that quality and those standards and those beliefs and the philosophy carries through every single phase, from development through production and testing to you.
So let's take a look at our brands, all of our brands, really quick. And maybe, Tom, why don't you start us off a little bit about how all of our brands kind of work together. I mean, we didn't just say, oh, let's just do water or let's just do skin. You know, everything works together really beautifully. Why don't you start us off with that, and then I'll elaborate on it as well.
Yeah, and the easiest thing to think about is the human body, right? We have all of these systems, organs, cells, everything works in concert. Everything works together. Your circulatory system does not work completely different than your lymphatic system or whatever. They are intertwined, they're interconnected. So all of our brands, this brand strategy is that we are approaching health and wellness from a very it's a term that we kind of use here and there is actually panoptic, or a very holistic approach to health and wellness. In other words, we want you to be healthy and as well as looking good, feeling good, knowing that you're putting great, safe, non-toxic products on your body, knowing that you're taking in high-quality supplements in your body, knowing that you are surrounded by clean water and clean air, that you have all of these products working together, and they've been designed that way. And so you first see a bunch of different brands that maybe appear a little bit disjointed, but they all work together. They all work synergistically to provide this very holistic approach to health and wellness.
So let's talk about how, like, you know, Tom, you said some really good stuff here, and here's what's really interesting, and we're going to elaborate on this, is that, you know, on how everything works together, right? I mean, because it's really difficult to lose weight if your nutrients are low. It's really difficult, you know, to have good energy if, you know, you're overweight. And so everything plays together. And Nutrify is this really remarkable brand of products that are designed to be preventative in nature. And, you know, Tom, you said something earlier about not wanting to be a doctor because you want to do disease prevention. Well, I look at insurance as sick care, right? You know, it's not health care. You know, what is health care? This is health insurance. This is insurance. This is about being proactive every day so you don't need your sick care, which is your health insurance. You know, because doctors don't have time today. I know a lot of them. I talk to tons of them, and hundreds of doctors I know personally, and they do not have time to spend with patients that they need to spend, you know, to help them figure out how to live better and healthier. They don't. They are constantly just dealing with disease. So when you look at Nutrify was because of a collaboration. We sat in a room, we said, what are the problems out in the world, and how can we address these? How can we be proactive with these problems? What can we do to help support people's immune systems in their bodies? And let's start with the optimals. You know, the optimals are so much. I mean, there's so many multivitamins out there on the market, Tom. I mean, everything from Flintstones on up, right? And a lot of these vitamins have the wrong types. They don't absorb. They don't have the other nutrients that cause, you know, like people don't understand that you're not going to get absorption of calcium without magnesium and vitamin K that opens the bone. And it's a very complicated science about creating vitamins that all work together cohesively to get you what you need. And there's folks that take, you know, products out there that aren't having absorption of anything. They're causing more harm than good. And the optimals are so comprehensive. They're designed to be taken morning and night. And here's my promise. You get a $40 blood test from your doctor and get a panel on all your vitamins and minerals. And then you take our optimals every day for 6 months and you go get that same blood test, you will see a difference. There'll be a difference because they're designed to be cellular food that make a difference in your blood work. We've proved it already. And Tom, you want to add on that on the optimals?
Yeah, you know, it doesn't matter how good your nutrition, how good the nutrients you're taking into your body. If those nutrients don't make it into your cells, it's really not doing you any good at all. So nutrition does start at a cellular level. And Deanna touched on the care that goes into these ingredients, the types, the sources, the bioavailability, the synergy between different vitamins and cofactors and antioxidants. And then, of course, the proper levels. And many of you have maybe are maybe familiar with RDA levels and how those are set at a bare minimum for treating deficiency diseases, and how many of those really require a much higher level to be therapeutic. And so those are the levels that we formulate at. We do a lot of research and a lot of reading into optimal levels of nutrients and the combination of those nutrients. And again, this is cellular nutrition at its core. This is providing you healthy cells because that's where nutrition starts.
And the optimals, I mean, we've seen people lose weight just from the optimals, because all of a sudden, you know, there's a signaling that happens from the neurological system to the body, and if you don't have good nutrients in your system, the signaling says eat more, eat more, eat more, because it's looking for those vitamins and minerals, and they're just so potent that people see differences in their eyes and their skin and their weight, and they just see really a lot of benefits on that. Let's move on over to BioProQ and talk a little bit about that. Why don't you start us off on that, Tom?
So coenzyme Q10, and especially the form that we have here in BioProQ, which is coconut, which is the form that your body has to transport CoQ10 into anyway to be able to use it. So it's much more bioavailable than what you see in most products on the market. Is something that is, I've started taking this the last couple of years myself, just because I understand how important this is for heart health, for other things, and of course, as we talk about things on this webinar, Deanna and I kind of tend to put the regulatory part of our thinking aside and really tell you what these products do, even though some of these claims really can't be made on the label. So I want you to kind of keep that in mind as we talk. We are talking about some of the great benefits of these, and the regulatory, if I take my regulatory hat off, I can talk to you about those types of things, even though we may not be able to say those things on the label just because of the regulations. But the effect that this has on cellular energy, you know, even in our 20s, our body starts slowing down in production of CoQ10, of ATP, of this mitochondrial energy powerhouse that we have in our cells. That actually starts slowing down in our 20s. And so we have to start supplementing to get that cellular energy and health back up. And CoQ10 is amazing for that. Like I said, the ubiquinol version of that is the most bioavailable form out there. Not a lot of people are using it because it does cost so much more. And this is a great product. Again, for targeting that cellular energy, that anti-aging that happens inside the cells.
You know, Tom said something, but I want everybody to know that if you do your own research on ubiquinol, on the benefits to the body, I think this is one of the most misunderstood products that we have, because this is one I never go without. By the time we turn 40, you see a decline in ubiquinol in the cell. Ubiquinol is the energy spark of the cell. And there is some correlation about the aging and declining ubiquinol in the body. So I look at this as one of our best anti-aging products. And not to mention that we get an incredible source of ubiquinol. It's bioavailable. It's from a company called Konica. I mean, Tom, aren't they the premier in the world?
They are, and they were the ones who really pioneered the ubiquinol production movement.
Yeah, and that's what we look for when we go for raw materials. We're not going for, you know, little Betty Joe in Iowa who is just got an ingredient. We're looking for the premier ingredient raw material manufacturers. You know, and that leads me into Vanoli, and maybe, Tom, you can talk a little bit about, you know, there's a lot of grapeseed extract supplements on the market. What makes ours different?
Yeah, you know, we have looked at literally hundreds of different grapeseed extracts out there on the market. I've used some of those in the past at other companies, and what we have decided on, chosen on, again, irrespective of its high price, is an extract out of Italy from a company called Deanna, and this has the highest commercially available amount of bioflavonoids, which is the active component in grapeseed, the flavonoid that gives it its antioxidant properties. the highest amount out there, and it's standardized, which means that every lot, we know we get that same level of bioflavonoids. Every lot is standardized as they blend different crops and different extracts together to assure that we get the same level. And that's one thing, you know, Deanna talked about the supplement industry as a whole and products not meeting label claim. This is one of the most common reasons why, is that they're, especially with botanicals, is that companies just put in a powder or an extract, and the active component or the active marker, what's actually making that extract valuable for you, may vary 10, 20, 30% from lot to lot in a lot of these extracts. So you don't necessarily know from lot to lot what you're getting. Whereas, whereas we use the standardized extracts here.
You know, and Dr. Strand, our Chief Medical Officer, I know he told you the story too, Tom, but he was using a grapeseed extract that cost the same amount as ours, and he was getting inconsistent results with his patients. Why? Because it wasn't standardized.
Yeah, a lot of variation.
A lot of variation on what makes the, you know, the ingredients that make that grapeseed extract potent. And so what is our phenol great for? Upper respiratory issues, allergies, cold sores, colds and flus. It's such a powerful product. It's our #1 seller in Asia. It is really a great product, and because it is standardized, the results are always consistent. So let's move on over to RestoreX, and taking a picture of health and well-being. You've got to have detox as a part of life, because if we give you all these great nutrients, but your body is toxic with lead and mercury and other heavy metals and environmental toxins, then all these great nutrients can only do so much. So we developed RestoreX to help the body with daily detox. Tom, if you want to jump in on that really quick.
Well, I don't know if there's really anything I can add to that. I mean, you're exactly right. The levels of those elements and metals and other pollutants that build up in our systems, I don't think most people realize how much of that, just from everyday exposure to pollutants, how much of that builds up and accumulates in our tissues. So you do have to have a way to pull that out of your body.
You do, and the great thing about RestoreX is not only does it help with that daily detox, but it helps with bad breath, it helps with some digestive issues, and it's in a powdered form designed to be taken with juice or water, and we have people that just really get remarkable results on it. Moving on over to Magna-Cal-D. This one took forever to make. Really was a long R&D process. It's a calcium magnesium standalone vitamin D. And as we touched on earlier, there are a lot of products out there where people sell minerals, but they don't sell minerals in the right form, or they sell minerals on outdated forms or cheap forms that don't absorb into the body and, quite frankly, can cause harm in the body. Magna-Cal-D is a bone supplement, but also a standalone vitamin D, and it is very powerful because of the choices we've made in the minerals and how they all work together. And Tom, maybe you can elaborate on that.
Yeah, it's maybe exaggerating a little bit to call some calcium products on the market powdered rock, but that's essentially what they are. They're in forms that are easy to work with, and they're cheap, and that's why people use them. But they are not bioavailable. They aren't absorbed by the body well, and essentially that's what they are, is powdered rock. And so yes, they have calcium in there, but your body can't uptake. Your body can't use it, and so. And again, Deanna touched on the vitamin D as well as the vitamin K and some of the other ingredients that are in there to maximize the absorption of calcium and magnesium, which it just all works, again, together synergistically to make sure that your body is absorbing and using as much calcium and magnesium as possible.
And you know, you might see some calcium magnesium products and it's got higher level of calcium on the product, but then you just have to look at the form, and it's unfortunate because sometimes you need to be a chemist to understand this stuff. But if you see things like calcium carbonate, we could have done that too, and the product would have cost us a lot less, and we would have had higher calcium on the label. But the problem is science now tells us that that is actually very dangerous for anyone who has heart issues. That can actually leave plaque in the arteries and be problematic. And I think, you know what, we're not going to play that game. So even though our levels look lower than something you could get off the shelf, We have a higher absorption fraction, so you actually get more, and it's not going to put those plaque in the arteries that is going to cause long-term damage. So let's move on over to Rejuvenex, which really was designed to compete with the energy drink market. And it's a phenomenal formula of products all together designed to give you antioxidants and energy. And Tom, maybe you can elaborate on that.
It's interesting. We got a call a couple weeks ago from our general manager in Korea, one of our the countries that we're in, and he said, you know what, we really need Rejuvenex in our market. It's a product that they don't have yet. And he said, I see all of these young college kids and students taking their finals, and they're cramming, and they're tired, and they're exhausted. I want to sell them all Rejuvenex. And he wanted to go out and literally get all these students to start taking Rejuvenex, because he could see just how crazy their schedules are, how tired they are, how exhausted, how they're burning the candle at both ends. And I kind of got thinking, well, isn't that describing all of us nowadays? We're all like this. And we turn to some of the things we turn to, the energy drinks, the 5-hour energy, the caffeine spikes, all of that. I mean, what it does to your physiology and your energy levels and your ability to sleep well, and all these things that affect you on so many levels. You just need something that's a natural, sustained, balanced energy source that is botanical in nature, and it's not going to cause the chemical crashes.
And you know what else, too, with this is the addition and focus. We use L-theanine, right, which has stacks and stacks of research on it that shows it helps both sides of the brain talk to each other. Rejuvenex is demonstratable. You get your reaction immediately. People see better focus, better energy without all the damaging negative stuff. And that's what makes it so phenomenal. And Tom mentioned it, but there's another little funny story. Is one of our representatives, or she has like 4 sons, and she would order Rejuvenex over and over and always have 4 bottles in the house. And she was noticing that it was all just totally gone. And it was completely empty. And then all of a sudden she noticed stacks of $1 bills in her son's, drawer. And she finds out her son's like a football player, a senior, that she's been making packets. He's like a Rejuvenex drug dealer at school and selling Rejuvenex at school for $1 to all the football players. Well, she's like, we cannot do this. This is awful, right? This is like not ethical. So she stops it, and then within like 2 days, the football team shows up on her doorstep and says, Miss Jones, we need Rejuvenex because it's our secret weapon, and it's why we're winning, and we take it 30 minutes before we play a game. This product is working with professional athletes all over the country, college students, high school students, non-professional athletes, people who are just tired and do not have the energy to get up. It works. It's demonstratable. And I'm telling you, folks, green coffee bean extract, it's got all the benefits to it as well. And it's going to give you that lift without the crash and extra focus. If you have not tried it, please do so. Moving on over to Make It Cute. Listen, there's a million fish oils in the world. And as people always say to me, well, I can go down to Walgreens and I can get a fish oil. Why would I buy yours? And I always respond back like, I wouldn't give that fish oil to my dog. If you understood how fish oil was made in this world, you would not use that fish oil. You just wouldn't. Because what they do is they take fish, all types of fish, and they press them, right? And they create this big vat of oil. Well, we have absolutely polluted our oceans. And in polluting our oceans, when you press oil out of a fish, you create a concentrated vat of toxins. And so then what happens is our government's not going to let you take that. The Canadian government's not going to let you take that. The European Union's not going to let you take that. So then what they do is they create systems in place to get all those heavy metals out of that oil. But it's the process that's so scary. What they do is they add a chemical called hexene. petroleum ingredient, and then they put it into the oil, then they boil the oil. Hexene turns into a gas at a high temperature, grabbing all those heavy metals with it, and it vacuums it out. Two problems with that process. One, they're using a petroleum ingredient. Two, you've boiled the oil to death. So sure, there's a lot of fish oils on that market, but what happens is that a lot of them are rancid. And a lot of them, instead of doing a benefit for the body, will actually cause inflammation. They'll actually do harm because of the process, the manufacturing process it went to get into the capsule to sell it to you. So I was like, no way. I was in a conundrum. I am not going to do fish oil early on. We're not doing a fish oil. And then we found a company in Canada who's won awards for sustainability, who recycles the fish into energy into their facility, who gets sardines and anchovies off the Peruvian coast, who's very sustainable in their work. They care about the environment, their employees, their impact on the world. And they have a patented enzyme process where they use natural enzymes and fermentation process to get all the heavy metals out. They beat U.S. standards, European standards, Canadian standards for cleanliness without having to destroy that oil. So when that happened, when we found that, we said, okay, these are the only people we can use. These are them. This is where we buy from. And that's what I mean by a difference on how we choose our raw materials, because we could have been like everybody else, and quite frankly, we would have saved money. But what people don't understand is the majority of the oils on the market actually cause inflammation. And omega-2 is a multifunctioning product. All of our products are multifunctioning. Our Optimals, our Restorix, our Venali, our Magna-Cal-D, our Rejuvenex, and omega-Q is also multifunctioning with CoQ10 and fish oil, so it's heart and brain. And I talked about that for quite a while, Tom, but is there anything you want to add to that?
I think that's actually pretty comprehensive. I think you hit on a lot of great points.
Now let's go to MOA. MOA, which was my nightmare, I got to tell you. We had a big group from Europe come over, and they wanted a liquid supplement. I didn't want to do liquid supplements, but we ended up doing a liquid supplement. And I'm just going to touch on what makes us different. You know how liquid supplements are made today? Powders reconstituted with water. When we first made MOA, we were turned down by over 10 manufacturers that said, no, nobody does what you're doing anymore. We looked around the world. We found the most medicinal plants, fruits, berries, seeds, herbs that we could find, and we put them all in one product. Ooh, it did not taste good. It's hard to make mushrooms, turmeric, seaweed taste good. But now it tastes good. We've worked out our kinks and brought in some really wonderful medicinal fruits as well that got it tasting much better. But here was the birth of MOA. And MOA is a combination of ingredients, as mentioned, from all over the world designed to have really a tremendous effect on the body. And like all of our other products, we don't just fairy dust ingredients in. We put them in at clinical doses. So when you look at MOA and you see our Mataki, which is the most expensive ingredient in all of our products, it's more expensive than gold ounce by ounce. But when you look at the research on that, and you look at where it's been studied, and you look what it does to the cells, you would drink MOA every day. When you look at the bergamot in MOA and what it does to cholesterol, you drink MOA every day. Every little detail was thought through, all the way down to the BioClean added to the product so you get better absorption. Because not only do we care about the raw materials in the product, we care about how it gets into your body. And people get undeniable results on this from all over the world. And Tom, you want to jump in on MOA?
Yeah, I've worked with a lot of juice type products in the past, and it always seems like the hook or what those products are built around is some special berry, some undiscovered new fruit from deep in the Amazon rainforest or from the western side of the Himalayas, something that only blooms every 7 years. And there's this mythical story built around this great ingredient. Well, that's not what MOA is. MOA is a collection of things that you just aren't going to find at your grocery store. You're not going to find all these things together. They come from around the world. They are traditionally used. Most of these things have hundreds, if not thousands, of years of established folk science as well as established science as to their benefits and their efficacy, and we've just done what we can to pull all those together into one product.
Yeah, and the results are, and the proof is in the pudding. The results are over the top. I'll tell you one quick story before we move off of Nutrivite, and that we ran out of this product in Europe, and customers, not representatives, were offering €100, which is about $120 a bottle, to anyone who would give them the bottle. Because it is our largest customer product, and remember, you get customers because people feel a difference in the product, they get results. And that's because we were on back order. We had customers offering $120 a bottle for that product. And like I said, the proof is in the pudding, and the proof is in the numbers. People use it, love it, and they see the results. All right, listen, we have so many products, and we only have about 15 minutes left now. So we're going to move a little quicker on a little bit more of a kind of an elevator speech. And here's the reality. Tom and I could literally talk a half an hour on each product.
I think they're getting a taste of that.
Yeah, we really could. And so to go so quickly over these, at some level, we feel like we're not doing you justice. But this is an overview. So let's take a quick look at Slenderize. It's going to be very quick. I was a 60-pound overweight and 11-year bulimic. Weight loss is near and dear to my heart. Here's the problem with weight loss systems. Is they're all designed on appetite control. And what happens with appetite control, you lose the weight, you get off the product, you screwed up your metabolism, you gain it all back. People get fat for different reasons. They get fat because of stress, because of blood sugars, because of hormones, because of appetite, because of toxins. So we created a system that is designed to touch on all of this. We've proved it clinically. The results are undeniable. So many times people come back to us and say, we can't even eat all the food you want us to eat. And the products are designed to help with stress and detox and hormones and blood sugars and appetite, and because people get fat for lots of reasons. And I am telling you, we have hundreds and hundreds of people who have seen results on this program who have never seen results on anything else. We're talking the hardest category. 40 to 50-year-old women with thyroid issues who can't lose weight on anything are still seeing results on this product. Tom, you want to add in on the system?
Yeah, you touched on how complex weight loss and weight management is, and so we've designed a system that kind of cuts through that and just makes it easy to follow, and a simple, straightforward process. But at the same time, we do want to educate, and this program does educate people in terms of why weight loss is maybe a kind of a complex issue, and why there's so much having to do with biochemistry and hormones, and how those two things really drive your behavior. And so you got to break through some of those cravings and some of those addictions and some of those signals to the brain and of hunger and stress and reward and all these things that work together. And so the Slenderize system is really great just because it is so comprehensive. It's not just the old mantra of, well, if you want to lose weight, diet and exercise, right? We all know that doesn't work. It's a great start for some people. It's usually a temporary thing for most people, because then they go right back to giving into those cravings that are coming from the hormonal and reward centers of their brain. And so this is a very long-term and sustainable program, and I think that's the key to Slenderize. We want to give you something that, and build habits and lifestyles that you can sustain forever.
And that's very well said. And listen, folks, we get weight loss. You've got to get results, and you've got to get results on a very timely manner. But people don't stick to the system at all. Here's the good news. Not only is our system sexy because you get results fast, but we're changing people's taste buds. We're changing the way they're doing their life. We're changing people permanently. I mean, I have one of our favorite leaders. She's a grandma over in Florida who never liked vegetables, nothing. I mean, everything in her life changed because of the system. Because literally her taste buds changed, her blood sugars changed, her hormones changed, and she started enjoying food differently. So not only do we want to give you the sexy aspect of, listen, you want to get rid of 12 pounds in 1 month? Okay, we'll show you how. We got it. But we're changing the chemistry of your body. Therefore, we don't want you as a return customer on this. We want you to get the results and be a walking billboard for the rest of your life. And I'm telling you, it's happening, and it's happening all over the world. And I'm so proud of this system because people are changing their bodies and they're getting their health back.
That really is amazing.
It is amazing. Let's go to the next brand, and it's hard to move so fast. But here's the reality. Our indoor air pollution. What people don't understand is indoor air pollution can make you fat. Oh, I bet you most of you didn't know that. But it can change your hormones, and then you cannot lose weight. Do you know that chemicals in your water can make you fat? They can change your hormones and cause you not to lose weight. And so remember when I said everything works together? Your indoor air pollution, the EPA, our government says is 70% more toxic than outdoor because we got furniture that off-gas because you clean with toxic chemicals and all these things going in your house. And those chemicals in our water and on our air affect your hormones, affect your immune system, affect your cells, affect your weight. So we created Purity for clean water and clean air. And I'm telling you, there's nothing else that competes against us on the market. And Tom, and maybe if you can elaborate a little bit about how friggin' awesome. I mean, we're like hospital grade filter in our air filter.
Well, this is this 11-stage filter in here was built really with industrial purpose in mind, and the measurements and the air turnover and the volume in this product are amazing, and so this is something that I know people just wheel from room to room in their house and just use this thing nonstop 24/7 because it's doing so much, and it can so quickly pull all of those pollutants out of a room, and we've got some great videos and demonstrations on that, what this does to a room and how quickly it can clear it out. And I just, this is one thing that I do travel from time to time to China, and which is notorious for its air pollution. Not that Salt Lake City here is any better in the winter. We have a horrible inversion, but earlier this year I came back from China with just a horrible upper respiratory infection that I pretty much attribute to their air over there, and it's just so sad to see how many people are suffering here, there, everywhere else in the world with pollutants in the air everywhere, and hiding at home inside is not keeping you from the problem. I mean, it's just everywhere around you, and so this really is something that is so very important, and I don't think enough people take that seriously.
I don't think so either, and China is awful, but what most people do not understand is that healthy air on where you live and where you sleep and when you play with your kids, that breathing that air is critical, and I dare say, and this is the EPA who's quite conservative, but the air in your home is not only likely dirty, but can be hazardous to your health. And I promise you, it can be even more polluted than outdoor air. And so a lot of you on this call might be surprised to find out what's polluting the air in your house, but it's there. And you think that, I've got it here in San Diego, I got it in Colorado, I got it in Iowa, I got it in Florida, they got it in Texas. Do a little bit of homework. You'll be surprised what's there. And we have an amazing program on this air filter, which I think is still running, and holy heck, if it's not, I'm now kind of offering it probably. But it's a program where if you buy the lifetime warranty and you get the filter, I believe you get
7 years.
7 years worth of air filter replacement sent to you for free, which means the filter comes out costing you almost nothing. I mean, that's where they get you, folks. Have you ever bought a printer and you buy that printer and you're like, oh gosh, it's only $50, woo! And you bring the printer home, you use it like on 10 sheets, and you're like, oh, I'm out of ink. Then you go back and you spend $150 on ink. We're the opposite. You might think the cost of the filter is too much. It's a lifetime guarantee warranty, and for 7 years, you'll get an air filter sent to you, a replacement air filter. And when you see that air filter, when you pull it out, I have several in my home. I'm like, whoa, it's crazy what's in there. You'll get them sent to you on auto ship. It's such a remarkable deal. So let's just quickly touch on the water because we're basically out of time, so bear with us for a few more minutes, folks. Yeah, and the water's the same thing. You look in our water and what's in our tap water, what's in our bottled water, and our bottled water's got chemicals that can make you fat. They can affect your hormones. They can affect your, endocrine system. That, your tap water's got fluoride and has chlorine and has, pharmaceuticals and pesticides. And this system, that little filter equals 300 water bottles. So not only you're doing something better for the planet, but that little filter takes out so much. It is clean, pure water. You could drink non-potable water with that filter. That's where we're different from everybody else, because if you go out into the world of filters, you go to your REI and you buy a filter, right on the bag it says must be potable water. What is potable water? That means out of a hose, out of a tap, out of a bottle of water. We could have an earthquake in California. The sewer system could go into our water supply, and with that filter, I could drink the water. That's what makes it different. Anything you want to add on that before we move on?
Just to say that, we talked about how important all these products are together, and I could literally talk for an hour on how important water is to your body, to weight loss, to good skin, to cellular nutrition. Water is at the core of everything. And with bottled water, I do see people now maybe drinking a little bit more water, and it's too bad because the whole bottled water industry is kind of a scam, because most of that is no better than tap water. But at least people seem to be drinking more, but yet most of us are dehydrated. I think I can't remember the stats on Americans. I should look this up and have this in the front of my brain, but so many of us are dehydrated, chronically dehydrated. Even if we think we're drinking enough every day, we just need to flood our bodies with water, good, clean water. That's the thing, is not only the quantity that you're drinking. People hear that message over and over, but the quality that you're drinking.
Absolutely. Here's a great way to tell. If your urine is anything more than light pale yellow, you're dehydrated. And dehydration messes up the entire system. It's just a fact. Nobody's denying that. And we've got a solution for you. I've drank water out of gutters in Mexico and ponds in China. I'm still living and healthy and great for it. So it's an amazing system. All right, let's move on to our next brand. This is Prime. We're just going to touch on it really quick. Why did we design Prime? We look for different alternative delivery methods. People get pill fatigue, folks, and they don't always want to take pills. And so we want to deliver other methods. Why does the patch work for smokers? Because the skin is a delivery method into the body. It's a beautiful delivery method into the body. That's why there's so many patch medications. So that's why Prime was designed. Prime was designed to give you a different delivery method through oils right into the skin. And we have blends that are designed to help you sleep better, to help you with your muscles, to help with headache and tension, to help with focus, to help with disinfectants. They're beautiful multifunctional blends. They were put together with the highest quality oils we could find on the planet, manufactured with pristine care, and they really work. And they pick up, some of the areas that we're missing in Nutrify. Prime picks up with a different, unique delivery system. Anything you want to add on that?
Yeah, you already mentioned it. I see people with other companies fumble with a suitcase full of oils, and wondering, how do I blend all these together? And let's see, I've got lemon here. I need 4 drops of that. I need 3 drops of lavender. I need a drop of frankincense. I forgot this formula, this recipe, and they get all frustrated. We've done all that work. We've worked with aromatherapists, with chemists, with everybody to put these together in the right blends, in the right ways, to be multifunctional, which is what Deanna just talked about.
That's right. And they work amazingly. And you don't need 800 oils to have good health when it comes to essential oils. Honestly, the Prime blend is extremely comprehensive with just these 5 products. Let's move on to our next brand. So we are going to end with our last 2 brands, Revive and Skincare. Why did we do shampoo, body wash, and toothpaste? Yet again, chemicals lurk in these products. We know these chemicals destroy your immune system, negatively affect your cells, also affect your weight loss, affect mood, all those sorts of things. The average woman walks out of the bathroom exposed to over 300 chemicals every single morning. Read your toothpaste. What does it say on the back? Warning, call poison control if more than a pea size is swallowed. So we felt to have a comprehensive company, we need to teach people about a system of brands that work together to create a healthy life. These are easy replaceable, folks. It's easy to replace your toothpaste. Our toothpaste is well accepted amongst children as well. Easy to replace your shampoo, conditioner, and your body wash. And why did we do it? Because everything right down from the scent was thought out to have a benefit for your body. You're not going to see your PEGs. You're not going to see your sulfates. You're not going to see any of that. And that moves us into the skincare. Why do we do skincare? Because every day men and women all over the world are putting toxic chemicals on their skin. And we know that destroys the inside of the body. So we created 2 amazing products, and the results are undeniable. I'm telling you, folks, the results are phenomenal. Got our dark spot corrector, which is also a multitasking product. It's a brightening cream, dark spot corrector. It replaces your serums, your moisturizer, your day cream, your night cream. It is really a truly multifunctional product. And then we've got our tightening and restoring system serum, which not only gives you instant results in 1 minute to wrinkles, but it gives you long-term results. We did a clinical study on both of these products. They outperformed our own expectations. Tom, can you just do a quick touch on that clinical study?
Yeah, you know, I've been involved in formulating cosmetics for 15, 20 years. These 2 are amazing. They've sort of become like my favorite children. The clinicals on these, when we set these up, you know, we had the standards we expected to meet, and when we got the results back, I struggled to understand the numbers I was seeing. They were so good. They outperformed the high-end prestige brands in terms of wrinkle reduction, texture, tone, smoothing, skin evening, and skin tone. I was amazed and basically had to call up the clinical lab and go through some of these results and almost say, are you sure that you got, I mean, we got 100% of participants. This is so statistically rare. You get a large group of people in a study, you always have 1, maybe 2 people who think, oh, I didn't really see that much of a difference. It didn't do much for me. Statistically, you almost always see something like that. When we see 100% of participants who say, yes, I saw improvement in my skin, that is rare and that is amazing.
And you know what? I mean, these products have taken off like wild fire because people are seeing the results. They see it on their skin. They see it on their dark spots. They see it on their wrinkles. And like everything we do, this is a perfect ending. We put it in writing and we get it tested. We put in writing, we're never ever going to do this to you. We're not going to use chemical preservatives. We're not going to use sulfates. We're not going to use phthalates, any PEGs and formaldehyde and any of these ingredients. Why? Because we care about the inside and the outside. Because we've created a family of brands that are designed to work together cohesively to give you a really great healthy life. When we look at our brands, I look at that and I think that is health insurance. That is what it's going to keep you feeling great, looking great, having the body you want, and that is how you stay preventative in nature. Because I got to tell you, you know, what's the point of working really hard and getting a lot of money only to spend all your money later on in life trying to regain your health? And so don't be one of those folks. This is health insurance. This is prevention. This is about waking up every day and having some goals when you're retired to be able to be active with your grandchildren. Because honestly, I don't want to be one of those people in a walker. I don't want to be back in diapers. I don't want to have destroyed my body so much that I can't enjoy my life. And our products are designed to help you enjoy your life better, feel better. You have our promise. We do it with care, with high quality ingredients. We do all the good and none of the bad. And we're always transparent and honest with you, and no question is ever off limits. And so with that, I'll let Tom wrap us up. And Tom, what do you want to add to that?
Yeah, there's really not much I can add to that. Just to reinforce that message, it's right here in the mission statement for our product development group that we create products to enrich your lives, and that's really our focus and our intent, and it's what we spend every day on. It's what we collaborate on with our scientific advisory board, our wellness council. It's why we read nonstop the clinical reports and all of the things that come out on ingredients. It's why we work so hard because we know you demand the best products. We demand it. We know that's what you want for your family. It's what we want for ours. So that is our mission, and that is what we stick with, and that is our commitment and our promise to you.
That's right. And you know what? I want to welcome all of you to the team. We're happy to have you here. You know, thank you for joining us for an hour. We went a little over today. Sorry about that, but thank you for joining us, and know that we're available. We're just really honored and grateful to have you be here. And I guess I'll end with one of my very favorite quotes, which is, I want to die young. I want to die old at a very young age. And we hope that for you too, and we hope that our products can help you feel that great. So with that, we're going to go ahead and end this webinar and just say thank you so much for joining us, and look forward to meeting you all in person very soon.
And welcome to ARIIX.
Welcome to ARIIX.
All right. Thanks to all of you.